Hello everyone, this is Sally with Sally Smiles Handmade. Today's project is going to be a two-part video. In the first part, I'm going to show you how I make the pattern, and in the second part, I'm going to show you how I actually make the bag. This is a zippered clutch purse with rich Victorian colors. A gold band separates the top from the bottom. It has a black zipper on top and beaded zipper pull. It's lined inside with a nice cream colored satin. And across the bottom we've got a black velour base. For this, I used these 2.5-inch strips of a metallic screen printed, and it's 100% cotton. These are, I'm saying Victorian colors. The collection that this came from is called Alchemy, Fire and Gold. It's put out by Hoffman Fabrics. Now I'm going to use up as much of this as I can, but I also have some other fabrics. This, maybe this, and this actually is a curtain, but it still has that metallic in it that I might use. So between all of these, I'm going to make a couple of these bags. I've also got this rich looking piping, nice gold metallic braid that I'm going to use. For the velour bottom, this is actually a Christmas skirt from long ago. I'm going to cut it up because it's a beautiful black velour with a wonderful soft feel. Alright, so we'll get started. Like I said, on this video we're going to do the pattern, so that if you want to make one, you'll see where I got my dimensions from. And then the next video will be actually the putting together, sewing, and assembly of the bag. Alright, let's go. I've taped down some craft paper to my cutting board, and I shot a line across so I have a straight line to begin. And now, somewhat in the center, I'm going to make a line that is 12.5 inches across. Now I want another line that's 5.5 inches high from this line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. I'm going to make a straight line going down, but I'm going to use a pencil because that's not going to be our final line. And at 12.5 across, which would be there, I'm going to make a line on the other side. So I've got our beginning rectangle. I'm going to mark the center. Since it's 12.5, the center would be 6 1/4. 6 1/4. And I'm just going to do a light line there. I'm going to use that to get my bearings. And my first line, now I'm staying in pencil because the lines that I'm making now are just going to be guidelines to make my permanent lines. So I'm going 1 inch over. And then I'm going to change the ruler and go 2 inches over till I get to the end. And the same thing on the other side. The reason why I'm going 1 inch to start with so my center panel will be centered. Okay, this line we could get rid of. I hope you could see the pencil lines. Next step, starting from where the lines meet here and the lines meet here, I'm going to shoot a line to the top that goes in 1/4 of an inch on both sides, which would make the bottom 2 inches and the top 1.5 inches. So we end up with like a rhomboid? I'm not sure, you know, like the beginnings of a triangle. Move that over a little bit. There. Now, from these dark black lines going across, I'm going to measure 1.5 inches. And from this side, 1.5 inches. And shoot up lines from the 2-inch mark at the bottom to the 1.5 inch mark at the top. And if you'll notice, little by little, we're making like a fan shape, which ends up making the pocketbook look very interesting when we're done. Okay, let me complete that. Alright, so I've got all the lines on the top portion, and I took away the pencil line so it doesn't get us mixed up. So just to review, the bottom here was 12.5 across, and then going up was 5.5, and then what we end up with across the top is 11 inches. So we're not quite finished yet. We've got to make the base. So what I'm going to do is put another line underneath that's 3 inches below. And then I'm going to set the ruler so that it continues this diagonal line to meet that line I made. And then I'm going to have to look for a cup or something round because I want to round these bottom. This was 3 inches. I was going to go looking for a cup, but I've got my tape right here, which will do the trick. So I'm setting it in there so that I could just see the black lines peeking. So I know when I make a curve inside there, I pretty much get both lines. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I've got my bottom curves. Now the only thing left to do is I'm going to make a little nip of a triangle over here because that'll help when we're putting the zipper in. And I'm going to shoot a line up from here and make lines for the dart. This is our completed pattern that we're going to use to mark down how we sew the strips on, how we sew the bottom on. I'm going to cut it out and get it ready to use. And our pattern is complete. I darkened some of the lines and I taped it down to my table. Now I have some, it's just lightweight scrap cotton, something that you can see through, and I'm going to use it as the foundation for our piecing. See, now you can see why I wanted the line so dark, because what I'm going to do is trace over this so that I have the pattern on my scrap fabric. I've completed tracing out the pattern piece. So we went from this to this on cotton. I lightly sketched on the other side because I know that when I sew it, it'll be more convenient to me to have the markings clear on both sides. And I marked that this is the back. So this is our foundation piece ready to be sewn onto with all the different colors, and then we're going to turn this into this in our next video. So be sure to watch the next video, sewing a Victorian zip pouch. All right, hope you enjoyed this, and thank you so much for watching.